What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? DP here from Team Triple Drive, coming to you today with a deck profile on the new Altmile deck from TRY3 updated. Once again, this is not my deck, this is my friend's deck. As always, he lets me borrow his Royal Paladins to do the deck profile. Yeah, so here it is. It's pretty different now. Brave has gotten a lot of new support, which is really good. I don't think it's still my playstyle personally, but I definitely can see why it's really strong these days. So we'll start off with 4 Heavenly Decree Altmile. This little guy is too expensive for what it does, really. He's good. The fact that every ability he has is free does help the deck a lot, because this deck is quite resource intensive. Sure, it can repay a lot of the resources, but at the end of the day, you do use them up. So yeah, he's really good. Just because he's free. He does almost the same thing as the old Altmile, it's just without a cost. So yeah, he's quite good. Then play 3 of the old Altmile. He's still brilliant. I mean, it's still an Altmile name, so we play that because we do need our Altmile name cards. Because, well, Altmile is just generally the better card to play, to be honest. We have support cards that require him to be on the Vanguard, so why not play him. Play 3 of the most bust grade 2 that Royal Paladins have. Well, I say Royal Paladins, that Brave has. Hopes on Angel. This card is your early game card. If you ride into this, you can get a free attacker, which means you can basically fill up your board for not as much cost as you would otherwise. So you can like still conserve hand while rushing the hell out of your opponent, which is not fair. I played yesterday with Luard against this deck, and granted it was somebody else piloting it, not the owner, but that guy still knows how to play it. Fair play. And we played 3 games. I won 1 out of them, because the first 2 games I couldn't stride. Like, he wouldn't let me get to my stride. He rushed the hell out of me. And then one of the games he just rewrote Hopes on Angel, and I was like, okay, well, I lost, I can't do anything, I can't gain the advantage. The game that I did stride, I managed to scrape a win, but this deck doesn't actually need to bloody get to grade 3 to do anything. It just goes, oh look, Hopes on Angel spam, and I win. Hopes on Angel can get us practically any grade in this deck, apart from grade 0, so yeah, it's pretty good. If your opponent's already on a 11k Vanguard, you can actually search out for an Altmile. So yeah, really good card. Then I play, well, my friend plays 4 Redon. The best thing about this card is not the other ability, not the boost ability. Really, it's the front row gain plus 3k. That thing can help you gain, little by little, you gain really big numbers with this, so you swing for nice numbers like 21k per swing, and that's really nice, you know, that's nice for all Paladins to have, because you're swinging huge with your Vanguard, you're swinging quite big with multiple rear guards, so it's not a joke, it's pretty good. The boost ability is quite handy as well, especially if you need to just enable Brave. This can actually help you with that, so yeah, it's quite good. Become a 9k booster is not bad in this deck. He plays 2 of, in my opinion, the most bust grade 2 in this deck, next to Hopes on Angel. 2 Dionysus. Its continuous ability is not Gem Break, which is quite insane. So when I played against my friend with Luard, he had 2 of them out, so he called one with Hopes on, then he had another one in hand. And he had 4 other Brave units, so this dude gained plus 4k. So he was swinging for 21k columns while he was in grade 2. That's all I can say. Like, this deck is not, I'm not gonna say it's broken, but if you open well enough, you can do ridiculous stuff before you even hit Gem Break. And you're a Gem Break deck, you know, like, you shouldn't be able to do that. Salt, all of the salt. He plays 3 Albion. He's just good for extending your combos, just like Suleiman. I personally prefer Suleiman just a bit more, because it helps you with the discard to continue going into your Brave abilities. This dude is pretty good, but it's not that the soul requirement is really a problem. It's just, I don't know. Suleiman seems to be a bit better because it's a 12k attack on its own, and the unit that it calls also gets power, so I prefer him. I heard my friend saying that he might bump him up, but I think the reason he isn't is because he doesn't have another one in SB, and he wants to have the pretties, I'm guessing. For the grade 1s, play 3 of the new Brave PG and then 1 of the old. Both are really good. This, because it's searchable, you only really need 1. It can definitely help you if you don't have a PG and you know a big swing is coming at you. It's searchable with Hopes on. It's searchable with anything else. Actually, I'm not sure if there's anything else that calls generic Brave. Hopes on can search it, that's the most important thing. Because you can always just call out Hopes on. This card is actually insane. This is like a free PG. It's broke. Like, you can PG your Vanguard and then use the other ability, or you can use this other ability, the Gem-Break 2 ability, without paying the cost on your Vanguard. This can PG your Vanguard without actually discarding. It's so good. Such a good card. Definitely one of the best perfect cards just in the game altogether, because Ezra's is great, but this card can perfect off for free. Ezra's can return itself back to hand, so it's more or less like, I don't know. It's hard to compare perfect cards both for different clans, but this is a really strong perfect card. We play 3 Sisals because Stride. This is a Stride based deck, although you're not going to Stride that many times because you aim to win by what, second Stride? Or maybe even before your opponent hits grade 3, you know, who's counting? Play 3 Selim. Now, Selim is really good because it's a 10k attacker. It helps you make those nice columns that you want. 10k attacker, it's just a 10k. It can be a booster, 10k booster as well. Yeah, so it just helps you to make those nice columns, to hit big. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say about him. He's also a grade 2 in the deck, by the way, yeah. So he's searchable. There will be a new support in grade 1 that counts as grade 2 for Royal Paladins, which is also really good. So you'll be able to have many more targets that are grade 2 in the deck. Playing 3 Damascus. This card is from Trial Deck, but it's insanely hard to get. Like, it's out of stock on all of the single websites that I know. But she's amazing. Her ability is Brave, Generation Break 1, she goes into the Soul, you can countercharge 2 and draw a card at the end of the turn. So good. The fact that you can get multiple of her off, like, is insane. Also, the fact that you don't have to have Brave, necessarily, to be able to use her, is also insane. And that is because of this little guy. This little guy is, ooh, this is what makes Brave a viable thing to play now, as opposed to, like, before there was no real reason to play Brave over Sanctuary Guard, because Sanctuary Guard didn't need to do Brave to do good stuff. Now Brave has this and more support as well, but this dude, its other ability is Act, Brave, rest its unit, choose one of your units and gets plus 3k. But its other ability, his first one, is Gem Break 1. At the beginning of your battle step, you can count plus 1, put him into the Soul, draw a card, and until the end of the turn, all your Brave abilities are active no matter how many cards in hand you have. So we'll play 2 of him for obvious reasons. It's insane, you can do it twice. As I said, you don't really tend to drag out your games. If a deck can get insane hand advantage in like 1 turn, which for example Luard can, then yes, they can drag out the game and you're starting to lose a bit of advantage, but generally you'll rush your opponent down really quickly or with big numbers, because this is what the deck is supposed to do. I mean, that's how the deck plays. It's a very aggressive deck. as you'll see by our trigger lineup. Play 4 heals, then 4 Balenis crits. Really, really nice crit. I really love it. Look at the... I don't know if you can see it on camera. The kind of the 3D effect. So nice. And then 8 more crits. So 12 crit total. You just want to see a crit each drive check, which my friend did. Every drive check, there was a crit. Psychic prick. Right, on to the G zone. Still play 1 fighters. It is still one of the best first strides, because it's free, unquote. Yes, you just got a card, but if you call a Brave, you can draw a card. So, there's so many Brave targets in the deck that it's fine. Also, another thing, even if you don't use him first stride, if you go into Lieutenant's first stride, for example, he has a sniping ability, which Royal Paladins kind of need, at least Brave kind of needs. I mean, Blasters have Exceed now, so yeah. But yeah, so he has a sniping ability which can help you snipe a very pesky unit. Now, Clitenus is there because it's a Brave, and sometimes it'll be our first stride just because it's a Brave card. We want to get face-up Brave units for this dude, Luminous Hope Dragon. Best thing about this dude is it's free. It's a cost on flip a card face up. That's all. That's what makes him so good, because you don't counterblast with him, so you have counterblast to use for your grade 2s, which call more grade 2s out, so you spam the field. You multi-attack while swinging big with this guy with a crit and then call in more grade 2s. So this is kind of what makes him irrelevant. This guy is still pretty decent. He's still nice with the fact that you can go second stride, free grade 2, plus 3k to the front row. Yes, sure, it's not a bad card. But in Brave, Luminous Hope does the same thing, but during the battle phase, swinging for huge numbers, and with a crit. Yeah, you need a certain amount of Brave units face up by the way for the crit. But once you get that, which is not too hard, you go Clitenus, and then you either go Fights into Luminous or Luminous flip up. You can have like Brave Lancer flip up. Brave Lancer is in here because it's a pretty decent finisher, but it's not that insane, so it's kind of okay to flip him face up, because Luminous Hope is, in my experiences from what I've seen, is a lot more effective because it swings for huge numbers with the crit. While this guy is good, it's limited to 3 units, and then you also have to discard cards. And since you'll be using him quite late game anyway, I reckon he'll be probably replaced for the Gem Break 8. Unless my friend decides to keep him just to flip him face up for that Brave, face up Brave for Luminous Hope. One Transcendent. So Transcendent is really strong, but most of the time you're not going to use him anymore, because that requires you to start flipping face up Aerial Divine Knights, and you don't really do that. You flip up Brave units very early on. Fights will flip up Clitenus, Clitenus will flip up a Luminous Hope, or Luminous Hope will flip up a Clitenus, whatever you need at that time. And then you just start spamming, like after this, yes, you start spamming, you can flip him face up, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, you generally, just as I said, try and end the game quite early. So you don't really get into him anyway. By the time you start getting into him, you probably either losing and your opponent's gone too much advantage. You have no targets in deck, or you've won, you know. So I've never seen the situation where he's useful these days, to be honest. But he's quite good still. Like, his effect on its own is good. How effective it's in this deck, I can't really say. I haven't playtested enough with it. But it's a good card. And look, it's all SP. It's SP, and this is SP, and it's pretty, and this is SGR. Oh, so pretty. My friend really rated out the deck since he started Royal Paladins. If you even watch our previous deck profiles, didn't have that many shinies. Bloody hell. For the G guards, it's pretty simple. 2 laser guards, 2 Arlem. This guy is insane. Like, the fact that its other ability is not Brave, the Soul Blast 1, is kind of unfair. The Brave thing is quite nice, the plus 5k, so yeah, it can be potentially a 30k G guard if you're on Brave. But otherwise, it's a 25k G guard for what? A Soul Blast 1 if you have an Altmile Vanguard? Yeah. What? I haven't seen this deck struggle for Soul whatsoever, with Damascuses going to the Soul, and this deck just generally not using them that much apart from Clitenus and, I don't know, Redon I think his name is this guy? No, Redon's the other guy. This dude. The deck doesn't use that much Soul. Oh, and, Hopes and Angel. How could I forget literally the best grade 2 in the deck? My bad. Alright, so you do use a bit of Soul. I can see why he doesn't run just 4 of this. But yeah, this is the deck. I mean, it's pretty strong. I don't know, there's not too much to say about it. It's Rush, followed by Recovery a bit, because you get to Brave quite quickly from just splurging out your hand early. And then you go, oh look, Damascus will go into the Soul, I'll use the starter skill to then also draw a card. Then Damascus will draw me a card and counter charge, Belenus will go into the Soul, whatever, you know, like, just draw a bunch of cards followed by a triple drive. Your opponent will not be able to pressure you that much because they saved us. They had to use a lot of resources for guards in your onslaught. So yeah, that's kind of how the deck operates from my observation. It's really good. It's definitely a lot better being Brave than what it used to be, because back when what's his face, Fights first came out, the deck didn't really use Brave abilities as such. It simply utilized the fact that if you have a keyword Brave, you can do stuff. Now you can actually use Brave abilities, which is quite insane. The deck really found what it's about, so yeah. And on that note guys, I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. This has been DP from Team Triple Drive, signing out.